Hello, my name is Grant Ferguson, and I am presenting a summary of my Capstone Integrative Learning Experience project titled Holistic Approaches to Prevent School Shootings in the United States, a narrative review. School shootings in the United States have emerged as a critical public health concern, with 1,138 incidents of gun violence on school grounds between 2015 and 2023. Notably, intentional shootings into schools have surged since 2017, and firearms rank as the second leading cause of deaths among adolescents in the country. These statistics emphasize the urgency of comprehensively addressing this issue. The traditional discourse on school gun violence has predominantly centered on emergency preparedness and immediate threat detection. While secondary and tertiary preventative strategies of emergency preparedness and immediate threat detection are essential, they have dominated discussion on school gun violence. Recently, there have been many considerations about including metal detectors at schools, arming teachers with firearms, practicing school shooter drills, promoting bulletproof backpacks, and architectural planning to provide more hiding spots in the event of a shooting. Unfortunately, these reactive strategies all fall short of addressing the underlying causes, and prominent discourse on the primary preventative approach of gun control has been a contentious topic that is seemingly unyielding. Schools are not merely institutions where children should be free from gun violence. They should also be nurturing environments where students can thrive, and the focus of students to thrive may very well be the key factor to preventing gun violence in school. This research sought to identify risk factors and protective factors of incidents of gun violence at schools. After we have identified some potential themes, the paper aims to identify holistic approaches to prevent future evidence. Initially, literature searches were conducted on EBSCOhost and Scopus databases to yield relevant articles. The terms school shooting and prevention and school shooting and holistic were employed. This initial search produced approximately 556 results. The articles were subjected to a PRISMA framework selection process. Articles that appeared pertinent were subjected to further investigation. Additional refinement was done by examining the reference sections of several articles, which yielded additional relevant works. The inclusion criteria were centered around the article's quality, direct relevance to the research objectives, availability of full texts, and focused primarily on themes related to perpetrator demographics, factors associated with school gun shooters, protective elements against school shooting, and prevailing attitude towards these measures. Articles discussing gun control were excluded. I used an inductive approach to thematic analysis, allowing the themes to emerge from the scope and focus of the article. Furthermore, I used a semantic approach, delving into content from articles for analysis. The articles were then categorized into themes to pinpoint the most significant factors, revealing the following themes: school climate, biopsychosocial factors, family dynamics, and social media. Although this method provides a wealth of articles, it must be noted that there is a bias towards published articles, and other relevant studies may have been excluded. Additionally, the exclusion and inclusion criteria may yield different articles and themes depending on the viewer. That being said, let's continue with the results. Profiling potential school shooters is not a recommended approach, as it lacks evidence of accuracy and efficacy and may result in social marginalization. Still, data show that the typical school shooter is more likely to be a white adolescent male, have no significant history of disciplinary issues, possess average or above high average intelligence, and experience social marginalization. Additionally, most school shooters have at least one social media account where they post disturbing content featuring guns and threatening messages. Many of them also report being victims of bullying. Protective factors against school shooters include positive family influence, self-actualization, and um, a lower likelihood of possessing dark triad personality traits. Other protective factors include limiting exposure to media violence, restricted access to guns, and positive social standing amongst peers at school. Several key modifiable factors have been identified as potential avenues for intervention, including biopsychosocial, with a particular focus on social marginalization, school climate, family dynamics, and social media. Although it is not recommended to identify potential school shooters based on biostatistical data, identifying socially marginalized students and intervening would not only provide a primary preventative strategy, but it could also uplift students to have a more positive school experience. Teachers and school staff could be trained to identify socially marginalized students and empower them to intervene by essentially prescribing meetings with school counselors or psychologists. Of course, it would be essential to approach students in a non-exclusionary manner to avoid further social marginalization. Positive family influence emerges as a significant protective factor against school shootings and plays a vital role in the protective model of resiliency to promote positive outcomes for youth. Strengthening parent-child relationships through interventions like child-parent relationship therapy can mitigate the risk of social marginalization and provide crucial support to vulnerable students. School climate can be improved by encouraging extracurricular activities, which fosters trust among students and teachers and reduces feelings of social marginalization. While extracurricular activities are correlated with positive outcomes amongst youth, further research needs to be performed to identify the most effective activities. Teachers could also be trained in professional behavior activities to promote their use of positive behavior support strategies to enhance the school climate. These methods could allow schools to proactively mitigate the risk of violence within their communities by prioritizing interventions that promote inclusivity and positive peer relationships. The pervasive influence of social media in students' lives necessitates its consideration in school violence prevention efforts. Cyberbullying, often facilitated through social platforms, can contribute to the risk of school shootings and other forms of youth violence and is considered to adverse outcomes for youth, such as anxiety, depression. Integrating artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies to monitor online interactions presents a viable primary and secondary prevention strategy. Additionally, it may be possible to incorporate artificial intelligence to screen for posted content associated with guns or other disturbing imagery. This information could then be tracked and notified to the appropriate law enforcement officials and communicated appropriately to school administration and staff. In conclusion, addressing the complex issue of school shootings requires a comprehensive and multifaceted approach that addresses root causes while leveraging protective factors within the communities. Understanding the factors that play a role in gun violence in schools play a vital role in planning and building more primary preventative measures necessary to tackle this ever-pervasive issue in the public health field. Thank you.